Aloha kākou e nā haumana, nā kumu a me nā ohana po mai kai. This discussion is going to be on the Polynesian languages. Now, the Polynesian languages belong to a large language family called the Austronesian language family. When I say large, that's because there are so many members to this family, and it covers a vast distance. All the way from Madagascar, which is off the eastern coast of the African continent, up through Indonesia and into Southeast Asia, from Western Polynesia, places like Tonga and Samoa, all the way across Polynesia to the easternmost edge, to the island of Rapa Nui, which in English we call Easter Island. Now, the languages in the Austronesian language family are related. Here in Hawaii, we'll pick two examples of Austronesian languages, Hawaiian and some of the Filipino dialects. How can we tell these languages are related? Let's listen to a few of the words. In Hawaiian, the word for coconut is niu, and in some Filipino dialects, they say niug. In Hawaiian, the word for 5 is lima, and in some Filipino dialects, it's lima. The word for fish in Hawaiian is i'a, and in some Filipino dialects, it's ika. We can kind of tell that they're related, but they're not mutually intelligible. That means that if a speaker of Filipino and a speaker of Hawaiian were to talk together, they could not understand the majority of their conversation. But the Polynesian languages are much more closely related. We have Eastern Polynesia, like I said, which includes Rapa Nui, and Western Polynesia, which includes places like Tonga and Samoa. And we have also, at the bottom of Polynesia, Aotearoa, which is now called New Zealand. So the triangle, the Polynesian triangle, goes from Hawaii in the north, Easter Island in the east, and New Zealand in the south. And all the islands in between are within the Polynesian triangle. Let's listen to some ways to count in the Polynesian triangle. Hawaiian, 1 to 9 is kahi, lua, kolu, ha, lima, ono, hiku, walu, iwa. Marquesan, the Nu'uhiwa moku, or the islands of Nu'uhiwa, tahi ua to'ufa, ima ono fitu wa'u iwa. In Maori, tahi rua torufa, rima ono fitu waru iwa. In Rapa Nui, tahi rua toru ha, rima ono hitu wa'u iwa. And in Tongan, taha ua tolu fa, nima ono fitu walu hiwa. You can definitely see that they're related, right? And of course, we have some other words that we might be familiar with in Hawaiian. Words like lani, which means sky. In Marquesan, it's ani. In Maori, rangi. In Rapa Nui, rangi. And in Tonga, langi. For the north wind, here in Hawaii, we call it the ko'olau. Marquesan, toko'au. Maori, tokerau. Rapa Nui, tokerau. And Tongan, tokelau. The word for house in Hawaiian is hale. South Marquesan, ha'e. Maori, whare. Rapa Nui, hare. Tongan, fale. The word for parent in Hawaiian is makua. In Marquesan, motua. Maori, matua. Rapa Nui, matua. And Tongan, matua. You can definitely see that they're related. But as far as being mutually intelligible, meaning when two speakers speak together, they can understand each other, Hawaiian and Tongan and Samoan, they're not mutually intelligible, very easy to understand. But I would say that between Hawaiian and Southern Marquesan, it's very mutually intelligible. In fact, when the Bible first came to Hawaii and Christianity came to Polynesia, the Hawaiian Bible was used by the people in the Marquesas until they developed their own. I've also been able to go to New Zealand and to places like Tahiti, and I've also been able to speak with speakers of Rapa Nui, Samoan, and Tongan, and it's so wonderful when speaking that we can feel understood, and when hearing we can understand a lot of what they say. Of course, I couldn't speak their languages, but it shows how closely related our Polynesian languages are. So the Polynesian language family is part of the larger Austronesian language family. And of course, Hawaiian fits into those places as well. Polynesian languages.